Federal Judge Neil Gorsuch is President Trump's pick to fill the vacant seat of the Supreme Court. Gorsuch has built a consistent conservative record in his 10 years as a judge. The president calls him a man who our country really needs, and he says the nominee's qualifications are beyond dispute.
The 49-year-old Gorsuch is a member of the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals in Denver. He is the youngest high court nominee since Clarence Thomas in 1991. His outlook as a judge is similar to the late Justice Antonin Scalia.
Gorsuch went to law school with former President Obama, who tried and failed to choose Scalia's replacement. Jan Crawford is at the Supreme Court with a look at the nominee and the confirmation fight ahead. Jan, good morning.
Good morning. You know, from the minute that we learned about Justice Scalia's death, then candidate Trump promised that he would nominate conservative justices to the Supreme Court. And as he unveiled his first nominee last night, he said he was fulfilling that promise.
Millions of voters said this was the single most important issue to them when they voted for me for president. I am a man of my word.
In a primetime address, President Trump introduced his Supreme Court choice to the nation.
Today, I am keeping another promise to the American people by nominating Judge Neil Gorsuch.
The 49-year-old federal appeals court judge appeared moved by the idea of replacing a conservative giant.
Justice Scalia was a lion of the law. Agree or disagree with him, all of his colleagues on the bench cherish his wisdom and his humor. And like them, I miss him.
Addressing a room full of friends and lawmakers, Gorsuch echoed the late justice in describing his conservative judicial philosophy.
In our legal order, it is for Congress and not the courts to write new laws. It is the role of judges to apply, not alter, the work of the people's representatives. A judge who likes every outcome he reaches is very likely a bad judge.
He's been compared to Scalia for his sharp intellect, but without the sharp elbows. With a solid conservative resume, Gorsuch sided with religious employers objecting to Obamacare's contraceptive mandate. While he has no specific rulings on abortion rights, in his 2006 book on assisted suicide, he argued against that practice as the taking of life. Born and raised in Colorado, Gorsuch moved to Washington, D.C. as a teenager when President Reagan tapped his mother to become the first woman to head the Environmental Protection Agency.
He moved very easily in these circles here in Washington and Oxford and all these fancy places, but I think at his core, he still was a guy who grew up in Denver, Colorado, felt himself a part of the West, felt that was his home.
Attorney Mark Hansen recruited Gorsuch after his clerkship for Supreme Court Justices Byron White and Anthony Kennedy.
When I practiced with him, he was a guy who was always willing to listen to colleagues, to listen to adversaries, to listen to courts. He was not hostile, not adversarial in his manner.
Those qualities could help build consensus on the court.
Stand up right back!
Yet minutes after Mr. Trump's announcement, liberal protesters flocked to the steps of the Supreme Court, calling Gorsuch too extreme. Now, some liberal Democratic senators immediately announced their opposition. Others promised a close scrutiny of his record. You know, the White House was actually, though, quoting a legal expert as saying that he would be impossible to oppose. But in this political climate, it seems like nothing is impossible. Nora?
That is true. Jan, thank you so much.